Today, I'm gonna be doing a review of the Tecware Phantom L. If at any point during the video you wanna check out this exact same keyboard, you can click right over here to see it and check out all the specs and size for yourself, but let's get into the review. All right, so right away, I am gonna be comparing it to the Red Dragon low profile K614. This is a competitor for this keyboard, but let's get into it. First of all, build quality. Now this has a full top metal plate that not only has metal all right here, but it actually bends around to this. So this is all a single piece, all on the left side, all on the back side, except for that bottom plate, which is plastic, but all on the top. This is a very rigid piece of metal. Now, contrasting to that on the Red Dragon keyboard, I'm pretty sure that this top plate is metal and it does bend around to the front, but it doesn't have this little edge. So it doesn't go completely to that edge. And on this side, that's all plastic. On the backside, it also doesn't go down quite as much, and it's just not as solid of a keyboard. As you can see, this flexes pretty easily. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it definitely flexes. Whereas with this one, it does not flex. This thing is absolutely solid. All right, now besides that, on the bottom, you do have some flip out risers right there, which does give you a little bit of adjustability with how you want to use this as far as hand placement. Now, besides that, it does have very nice rubber feet down here. However, because of that, it does seem like it's a little bit higher off the desk than some of the other competitors like this one. So this definitely sits closer down to the desk just because on the bottom here, it doesn't have jutting out rubber like it does on this one. Now, I don't feel like that makes much of a difference to me, but as you can see, if you put these sideways, the Red Dragon is definitely thinner, but not by a whole lot. Now, moving on, there's a couple of things that I really do like. Number one is the placement of the USB-C. So as you can see right here, it is on the back side, right kind of not quite in the middle, but a little bit over here on the left side. This means you can upgrade it with a custom cable if you're just gonna leave this on your desk, or traveling with it makes it really easy. And just cable managing and wire coming straight out like that is very easy. Comparing that to the Red Dragon, it's over here on the left side. So you do have to use their special 90-degree cable, or you have to get an adapter, or you have to run it on the left side of your desk, which is just very strange. I don't like that they do that. Now, next up, how does it feel and sound to type on? Well, I will say this is not the lowest profile of keyboards out there. However, it does feel quite good kind of because of that. So it's probably about half or a little bit less than half what a typical mechanical switch would be. But because of that, it doesn't feel as like mushy. Like a lot of keyboard enthusiasts like myself would consider low profile keyboards to be mushy, whereas this one, it doesn't really feel mushy. It just has a shorter travel distance, which if you're a gamer or a typist, this will make things just happen a little bit quicker. Or if you're just someone that's more used to using a laptop keyboard, this might be for you. Okay, so talking about the keycaps, they have pretty good shine through. The overall quality is good and they do feel really good. They have a slight texture and that's for the price, which is the next thing that we're going to get into after we talk about the feeling of it. So like I said, the switches are outemu low profiles. And they do, I think, have a travel distance of about 1.2, which contrasting to a typical one is about 2 millimeters. All right, but how does that translate to the typing feel? Well, the actual keys, as you can hear, sound really good. There's not a whole lot of like hollowness to them. They feel nice, they feel responsive. They definitely don't feel mushy. And I would say they sound pretty nice too. I would say that sounds pretty good. Now moving on to the stabilizers, very important for typing. Let's get a sound test really quick. They actually were really good, better than I actually expected. However, I will say the one key that would need some work would be the spacebar. In some spots on mine, it's about right here. It's about right there that it kind of rattles a little bit. As you can hear, it kind of rattles a little bit there, but as you can hear in the middle, pretty solid, especially for a keyboard like this. Okay, but the really big thing is the price comparison. If you compare something like this, the Red Dragon K614, this keyboard costs $47, which is not crazy for mechanical keyboards. However, for a low profile keyboard with no Bluetooth or anything like that, it's quite a bit. Now, this is not gonna be as great of a form factor as something like a TKL, especially if you're a typist or a gamer. If you only do something like FPS games, then this will probably be fine for you. But if you want those arrow keys or the function keys up here, this is absolutely a better layout, the TKL layout. You have your multimedia keys, you have all of your function keys, and then you have those arrow keys, as well as all of the main keys right here. If you want something that you're gonna type a lot with, this is definitely gonna be a better form factor than this. Now, beyond that, as I said, this keyboard right here is $47. This keyboard is $35. Now, that is the thing that really sets this thing apart. For 35 bucks, you're getting a full mechanical keyboard that's low profile, but it has really good build quality. It has a detachable USB-C cable and something that actually sounds really good. And if you're into more quieter keyboards, this thing just doesn't sound that loud. And because of that, it actually sounds pretty good. Now, the one thing that I wish that it had was wireless connectivity. However, you're not gonna get that at 35 bucks. Now, the lowest priced full-size mechanical keyboard that I've ever recommended is $40. That's the lowest price I've ever recommended someone to buy a full mechanical keyboard, and that one does not have any metal build quality at all. So this is pretty amazing for a very polished, I mean, you can see a very polished product for only 35 bucks, but that's not it. Let's talk about the RGB. Okay, so number one, to actually control it, it's pretty easy. You hold FN right here. You can go through a bunch of different modes. So you have a static colorway, you have kind of that RGB. It's very bright in the room right now with a ton of light, and you can still see the RGB, which is pretty awesome. It is pretty dang bright, especially for 35 bucks. That's pretty amazing. But so you have all of those. You got a bunch of different stuff that you can do, reactive modes. I mean, there's tons of stuff. And then beyond all of that, you can change each individual color by holding FN and going to the right. So if I wanted to go to the static colorway right here, you just go over and it changes it to a different color, as you can see. So that one's kind of like the rainbow look to it. Then we have a red, which is very cool. But that can be on actually any mode. So if you wanted to change it to the different modes, like a reactive mode, that's kind of like a fire mode, but I can change it to any color, like a blue that I want to. However, I think most people will probably just want it in a static mode, but it's very bright, especially in a dark room for typing, seeing the keys, and just having some fun, especially if you're a gamer. But yeah, I typically don't like low profile keyboards, and I said when I reviewed this keyboard with the full size version of this keyboard that has a little bit more wireless connectivity, it's a full-size version of this thing with wireless connectivity, retails for $100, which is ridiculous. It is absolutely not worth that. This is Tecware's offering for a low-profile keyboard at $35. That's what it typically retails out. So if it's gonna be anything, it's gonna be lower than that price if it ever goes on sale. I don't think I've seen it on sale. But if you want a low profile keyboard, this thing is like incredible for the price point, and the way that it looks, feels, and overall having it polished is really good. Now, the one thing that I didn't like is that it came with some extra switches, a keycap puller, and then a switch puller. However, after trying a bunch and then researching it, this is not a hot swappable keyboard. These have soldered on switches, which could be a problem. Again, for 35 bucks, this is an incredibly polished keyboard. And I would absolutely take no hot swappability, but a really good build quality that looks, I mean, look at how sleek that looks. This literally looks really, really good. And if you do want to put full-size keycaps on this, as you can see, they do keep that same MX style for your switches. So even if you did want to put some full-size keycaps on here, you can do that if you want to. But yeah, overall, if you want a low-profile keyboard, do I recommend this thing? Absolutely. For 35 bucks, it's pretty freaking awesome. Again, if you want to check it out, you can click right over here, and maybe I'll do a modding video of this, although I don't think so. But I mean, it's possible if enough of you comment at me. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video and it helps you out, help me out and throw a like below. And if you enjoy other videos like this, I do a ton of them, so please consider subscribing below. And yes, guys, I am going to be reviewing the Royal Kludge RK68 very soon, and then doing a modding video on it. So I know that a lot of you have commented that, so it is coming. But yeah, this is Consumer Tech Review, and I'll see you guys in the next video.